New Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host.
Hey, grand rising to you billionaires. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the new Black Wall Street as we present you guys the Money and Power Show for Black Woman Wednesday. That's all right. We're back here on Black Woman Wednesday. Just a phenomenal time we're going to have here today. So I hope that you guys are ready. That's right. Ready to learn with your free financial education. That's right. For the nation. Free financial education for the nation. So if you got some people that's been begging you for money, you might want to tag them. They didn't get their money up, they can stop begging you. That's just how we do it. Here today on the Money and Power Show. Of course, this show is all about those two things, money and power. We talk about the two of the areas that I believe that we've been conditioned not to talk about. Money being economics or cash flow, power being politics or cash rules. And so we do have a special guest with us here today. It's a Black woman. As we are going to have a good time here today or for a Black Woman Wednesday. Let me introduce myself, tell you a little bit about who I am. I am your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. The book that I wrote, guys, is a study of Black wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if, by the way. But if you do, I recommend that you study wealthy people. You can begin that study by simply picking up a $25 book that can help change the ways you think about money, change the ways you think about Black folk and money, and then also teach you, or you can learn what successful Black folk have done when it comes to money. And if you learn what they've done, then you can actually begin to mimic what they have done, actually have similar results in your life. That's why reading is so very valuable. Well, you can pick up the book by simply going to the website, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. You can pick up your copy today. It's available in French and in English. And so you can find that link in the description above or below. Today's episode is being brought to you by ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace which specializes in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also Black art-inspired gifts. Here at ERGJ Black Bazaar, we've done a little bit of pivot to make sure to provide even more stuff for you guys so you can shop black and feel good about it. But we do have your sanitizers, some CBD products, and then also quite a few masks are available for you guys to protect yourself as the cities are starting to open back up and you're having more connection to people. Well, you don't know if those people have contracted that virus or not. The virus is not going just yet. And it's actually still more cases being exposed each and every day. And so what do you think happens when people who have no real care for their own life start hanging around you? Well, you might want to protect yourself, and you can do that with a few things. We do have, again, your mask available, hand sanitizer, gloves, all your PPE products available, face shields, and all that good stuff as well. All I can tell you is, man, get what you need to protect yourself because you are that important, man. Check out ERGJ Black Bazaar, where we make group economics easy. Why? Because you can shop from your couch and get it delivered to your door. Here at ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace, we want you guys to remember this, that once you shop black, you never go back. That's right, man. Once you shop black, you never go back. Check us out at www.theblackbazaar.com, www.theblackbazaar.com to shop black, buy black, and all that good stuff as well. Let's find out who's here this morning, man. We done paid the bills. It's time for us to make some noise here today in our community with some free financial education for the nation. Go ahead, hit that like button and share button if you care. Like button and share button if you care. Also, let us know where you're connecting from. We're broadcasting across the World Wide Web using Facebook and also YouTube live. And of course, you guys may catch this replay if you didn't catch it in the beginning. But let us know where you're connecting from. What city, what state, what country, what city, what state, what country. Rep your city this morning. We're broadcasting on our virtual studio here in Decatur, Georgia. That's right. That's why I said Decatur. Decatur, where it's greater, man. You can take the man out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the brother. That's what it is. Man, A.V. is in the house, man. Good morning to you, King. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Loki Slick Saucy is in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us today from Charleston, South Carolina. Queen Shanrika's in the house. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Money and Power Show. Good morning, Miss Tiffany out of Detroit. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show for our special presentation, which is Black Woman Wednesday. So what do we do here? Well, what we do here is we just lift up, honor, adore, show our appreciation for the Black woman. These strong sisters and just all in a whole, as you have exhibited your strength over time, and you continue to show up, show out with your Black girl magic. So we just want to lift you up. We just want to show our appreciation, let you know just how much we love, care, adore, and all that stuff. All you Black women out there, that's right, man. You are the truth. You are needed, necessary, valuable, honored. All that good stuff, man. Black Woman Wednesday. That's what we're here to do here today. So you know what I got to do? I got to give you my virtual hug, put that arm around your neck, Black woman, squeeze it real tight, and bring you on in here, man. Black Woman Wednesday here today on the Money and Power Show. And we got a wonderful show lined up for you guys. I'm going to skip the political piece today because we do have a guest. Well, we normally read Black History Reader from Dr. Claude Anderson, but we got a couple things to go over, man. We're going to be talking about investing, Bitcoin. We'll be talking a little bit about Bitcoin, Black women, you know what I'm saying, kind of starting to get into this space of investing and making their money work for them. Of course, we got to keep going through the richest man in Babylon. I'm pretty sure our guest got something to say about that as well. So while I'm talking about my guest, I might as well bring her on. Yeah, this is the educator here. This woman here, she can teach you a few things. Because she got a heart like me, an educator at heart. Man, let me introduce you guys, pre-K to PhD, who's the founder of that. Now she's also teaching people how to free themselves financially. Miss Renata McPhail, I believe out of Texas, is in the house with us here today. Good morning to you, Queen. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm well.
We ain't got no. There we go.
Huh?
It's a little delayed on the feedback, man. Your lips were moving, but the voice wasn't coming. But now it's starting to come in, so it's catching up.
Yes.
Not a problem, man. Grand Rising. Man, I'm doing absolutely phenomenal, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show for our special presentation. Black Woman Wednesday. There's some people who this first time being introduced to you, Ms. McPhail. So if you could let people know who you are, what you do, why you do what you do, and why we should listen to you.
Absolutely. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Renata McPhail, hailing out of Houston, Texas. So I am a professional educator, lifelong student, both formally and informally. I was a teacher, a Spanish teacher, actually, for 5 years. And after 5 years, I entered a doctoral program full time. And so I am actually at the very tail end of finishing up my PhD. Just passed my proposal exam yesterday. So, but yes, so I taught when I was a full-time student. I taught several undergraduate courses, and then during that time, my husband and I, we subsequently started pre-K to PhD, which we are a educational service business that does tutoring, test prep, and we boast a 94% success rate in getting students into the top private and boarding schools in the world. And during that time, about my third or fourth year in business, I really dug my heels after many years of studying off and on the stock market. I ended up really diving into my education and learned how to invest, then learned how to trade, and then learned how to day trade, as well as and my education actually was steeped into cryptocurrency. So all of these things emerged at the same time, and that ended up growing into giving me a platform online to talk about investing as I grew my own wealth. And because I'm a teacher, people started asking me to teach them. And so then basically I created a subsidiary of pre-K to PhD called Making Market Moves. And so what I do there is I teach people how to trade and invest in both the stock and cryptocurrency markets. That's me.
Wow. Okay. So I didn't see. I'm always learning something new about the McPhail enterprise, man. It cannot fail because McPhail is like McScrooge or McDuck. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so this is interesting. So so this is man. Look at how this works. Look how God works, right? This culmination of your expertise, right? I'm an educator, and I learned some new stuff, right? And not only did I learn it, but I got good at it. Right. I learned it through my experience, and now I'm teaching my experience to other people, just creating another arm of the business that we already have. And now, boom, I have basically a financial section of financial services, teaching services in my pre-K to PhD. See, I did not know that. I mean, I heard of Making Market Move, but I did not know you had made it into a service, another teaching service that you provide. So you teach, I think you predominantly teach Spanish, I believe.
Well, we teach academics in general. I started out as a Spanish teacher when I was actually a school teacher. But yes, we do, we do teach Spanish. We actually host language. Out of 3 out of the 6 years we've been in business, we've hosted language immersion trips where we've taken students to Costa Rica in the summertime for anywhere from a month to a few weeks at a time to go and learn Spanish. So that's one of the subjects we provide, but we provide many. Right.
That's what I remember, the excursions. Cause I was like, man, I wish I could have been, taken to some of these places. That's cool. That is cool, man. Well, we got a lot we want to cover today. And obviously one of the things that we will dive into will be cryptocurrency. So I'm super excited about that. I haven't talked about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in a while, just because I think sometimes it's just difficult enough to get people to understand stocks. So as you may know, for those that don't know, when I started this show, it was all about stocks and crypto. That's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. And that's still all I really talk about. I just haven't talked about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency much at all lately, for whatever reason. So this might be the kickoff of getting back into it. I'm not quite sure if our time will lead us to do more sessions like this. As we ultimately, I like to move people into your money, making money moves. I mean, I don't need to be teaching everything. I love to partner and send people that are interested in that space over to you, and vice versa. And that's just how teamwork works, right? Absolutely. Teamwork works when you work it, right? Team together, everyone achieves more. Everybody put in common little team. So I've learned not to try to do everything. When I find someone else that can do some stuff, that can, hey, let's get it done. Because at the end of the day, I believe we both have the same heart to impact our community and to educate our community as it relates to specifically about money and the power.
and before we move on, I've got to give you your roses while you're living to smell them. Thank you, because you were basically one of the biggest influences that I had in learning, in continuing to pursue an education in the stock market and about Bitcoin. You were the first person to actually introduce me to the concept. And for all those who are listening, listen to this man, because I didn't listen when he was preaching about it, when it was much, 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 much lower than what it is now. But I caught on eventually. So thank you. Mwah, mwah.
That's what we do, man. Well, we're going to start our show, guys. Again, this is Renata McPhail. Fantastic. Catch up on these comments, man. Good morning to you, King Raphael, Virginia Beach, man. Queen Vivian is in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Queen Melanie out of Miami, Florida is in the house, man. Queen Shanrika is in the house. Thanks so much for joining. Queen King Sydney out of Houston, Texas, man. H-Town representative. All right, to you. Queen Alicia's in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power show. That's right. Coming man, a team. That's right. Team. That's right. Team. Somebody said something earlier. Did I miss it? That was Sydney. Oh, I don't know. I can't catch up on that. I can't see everything, by the way. I'm sorry, guys. Congrats, though. Congrats. Beautiful, beautiful team. Absolutely fantastic. Now, today is Wednesday, and on Wednesday, we do our 52-week savings challenge. So you guys know what time it is. Time to get it in. That's right, man. It's the Save Train. And I'm your conductor, Mr. Save-A-Lot, back here with the 52-week savings challenge. And we're into week number 22. So what that means is each week, according to the week, we're going to put that amount of money into our savings container. So let me go get my nice container. It's called the Straight Out of Money container. Now, what this means to me is if this thing ever gets empty, that must mean I must be straight out of money. And we don't want that to happen. So we're going to continue to pay ourselves first. And we're just going to continue along with this challenge. So it's $22. So $22, let me unlock my safe. Let me count my dollars out. That'll be 20. That'll be 1. And that'll be 2. $22 into our savings container. And that would mean that we are now complete with week number 22. Now, what this simply helps us to understand, beautiful people, is if I save money today, then later, my money may be able to save me. We all know that things will happen, whether it be maintenance or repair or anything like that. Do you have money saved away, as they call a rainy day? Or do you have money saved and prepared for opportunity? So like Ms. McPhail's talking about, man, she studied and learned some stuff. And then she has some capital to then go ahead and start to risk it in order to try and get a reward. Well, have you learned the first principle of building wealth is to spend less than you earn, and the less that you don't spend is the more that you can save.
Absolutely. The
less that you don't spend is the more that you can save. Let's get our quote today, and I believe this comes from I forgot his name. From Robert Allen. This is right on point too, right? How many millionaires do you know have become wealthy by investing in savings accounts? I rest my case. And so we have not only millionaires, we have black billionaires as well that we can learn and follow from. This Renata McPhail, man, I believe you've seen this 52-week savings challenge before. We just brought it back again. I think it was 5 years I first did it. Man, but what's your thoughts on the principles of money and saving money and putting yourself in position to be able to invest money? Because some of us may want to invest now that we've learned about it, but there's steps before the investing that have to take place as well. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes. So what I have learned about money over the years is that um, basically I have a phrase that kind of sums it up. Your dollars are basically your little foot soldiers, and so whatever it is that you put your money in order for you to grow wealth and build wealth, it has to provide a return. And like as so wisely said, you've got to have dollars to put out there to get a return in the first place. Um, and I think one of the common misconceptions is that people think that you have to have a lot of money, you know, before you can start investing. But that is actually not the case. You definitely want to have funds set aside, in the event of emergencies or opportunities, because I don't believe in just thinking about savings in terms of if something bad happens, if you expect that, then something bad, more than likely is going to happen. You set your money aside for opportunities. You set your money aside for opportunities. So when the opportunity presents itself where you can make a return on that money, then you deploy that capital and send your little foot soldiers out.
Man, she said, look at that. She got little foot soldiers. She got an army. She said, I deploy my capital. I sent my little foot soldiers out, Miss Vivian. So this was week 22. That would be a total of $253 that we have now saved in these 22 weeks, man. And for those that have been following along, how does that feel? I'm pretty sure it feels good to look at your, your canister, your bank account, your piggy bank or whatever, your safe, whatever you got. I know it's got to feel good to know you got some money there. You got some money there that you're building in case of opportunity. In case of opportunity, man. That's what I'm talking about here today on the Money and Power Show. So week 52 of the 52-week savings challenge is now complete. All aboard. So now, guys, what we want to do, man, I found something this morning before we get into talking a little bit about Bitcoin. I found something that would be very, very interesting for us to take a look at here today as we have our special guest with us here today. And it's news that you can use. It's news that you can use. And for those that don't know, in the Black Billionaires Club and beyond, we've been preaching on this whole e-commerce thing, as I believe that's the next wave of success, next wave of big dollars, next wave of millionaire, billionaire status. And I think I found something very interesting this morning that we can kind of go through and see what others are saying. And so there was this very first thing that coronavirus is in the land and it's changing consumers. And I said, man, this looks like an article that's worth going through. And that's exactly what we're going to do here today as we look at this pandemic. Our pandemic shopping habits are here to stay. Brands are racing to adapt. So let's find out what they're talking about here. So they say that Procter & Gamble executives check in with each other about their customers, what they're buying, how their needs are changing, and whether the company's products are hitting the mark. We need to stay very close to consumers and their habits, their needs, and their desires. We need to stay close. Now look at this. Businesses are paying attention to people's habits, their needs, and their desires. And one thing that I teach as it relates to if you are in business is to study people. Everybody put in comments, so study people. It's to study people. And that's exactly what these businesses do to figure out how they can get you to buy their stuff. They study you. Question is, what are you studying? That's the question of what is your stuff? Because whatever it is that you're studying or whatever it is that you're focusing on, you are becoming. They're studying you to learn how to get your money. And they're seeing that you and I, or society itself, is changing or evolving or adapting. So now more than ever, the company's chief financial officer said, whatever, Procter & Gamble, which owns brands including Tide and Fairy and Pantene and Gillette, is just one of the consumer goods giants that expects new habits formed during the coronavirus pandemic to permanently change the way consumers shop. They're expecting this change to stay. The early evidence suggests that the shift to online buying is accelerating. So if online buying is accelerating, here's what I was excited when I was reading. I said, if online buying is accelerating, and I just happen to have an online store, then that puts me in the game. Online buying is accelerating. Question is, are you giving people an opportunity to online buy from you? To online buy from you. The internet has changed. The internet has literally leveled the playing field of opportunity. It has literally leveled the playing field of opportunity. I can't think of I've only been here 40 years, but I can't think of another time in history for Black folk, particularly before the slave trade, that the level of that the playing field has been leveled for opportunity. Miss Renata McPhail here on Black Woman Wednesday. What is it that you kind of see? We'll keep going through this article as well, but I just want to get your first thoughts on what we've just read thus far as we look for clues in the news.
You're absolutely 100% correct, and again, you're ahead of the curve. Everything. I'm just looking at myself as a consumer, and save groceries. Everything that we buy now we buy online. Just about everything, and you see the rise of these Shopify stores and other e-commerce platforms. It's definitely a very prudent move to invest in an online store. There's several, of course, that's your expertise. I know that there's several different ways, to do that. But as this virus, 'cause I don't think that, we're out of the woods just yet, just because people, businesses are desperate to open. And, God forbid, but, it's very likely that we will see another wave. And once that happens, people are going to shut their doors and shut their doors tight. But guess what? They still need stuff. So where are they going? They're going to people like you. They're going to other folks who have established online stores and presences to buy from. So,
and you just said a very, very great thing. Not only just from because there's some people obviously not gonna establish their online presence, but you said some other things well, because you said this word invest. And so you said, man, with this coronavirus, there's been a rise in Shopify stores, which actually is a publicly traded company. There's obviously, if Shopify is rising, then there's going to be a rise in how they're actually going to do payments and stuff like that, like a PayPal or a Square. They happen to be publicly traded companies as well. And so you have all these different dynamics that are connected to the rise of online buying. Technology obviously is a big one in a lot of different ways. That there's a rise. Matter of fact, we'll take a look in just a second at how when everything else was in the dumps, technology stocks were still cruising right on along.
Yep.
Technology stocks were still, matter of fact, even so much so that before this whole thing happened, my mentor, Warren Buffett, finally changed his mentality when it comes to technology. And he invested in some technology for a long time where he was like, I don't understand it. He old school. He wasn't having it. But Berkshire Hathaway said, we're going to get some of this Amazon. we're gonna get some of this evolution, because things do change, although they kind of stay the same. Let's keep going in this article, man. This is good stuff, man. Again, news. I don't read the news to get the news. I read the news to interpret the news so I can find the clues. Finding the clues in the news is a skill set that if you pick up, you're going to be able to see how entities communicate through the media to give each other some steps as to what's going on. So consumers are buying more products for their health and home. How many guys are going to say, hey, I'm going to be selling some stuff? And look at this. I'll tell you. I mean, elderberries, sea moss, essential oils, natural soap and toothpaste. Do you know how hard it is for me to keep this stuff in stock? Come on now. They're becoming increasingly more cost conscious as well. Now, here's what happens with online selling and buying as well. Number one, you don't have to worry about the building. So you can slim down stores, slim down staff, right? You can compete because you got to compete, right? Then the other thing is a lot of us that have e-commerce stores, we have a direct from manufacturer or warehouse to buyer. We bypass Walmart. We bypass Amazon. We bypass the marketplaces because we become the marketplace. Now, what is a marketplace? A marketplace is a place where a buyer and a seller meet. So not only am I the seller, I'm the marketplace. And not only am I the seller, I'm my store is the marketplace. Me, the seller, have something in my store to sell. And then people come to the store or the marketplace to buy. So I've established a marketplace and I am the seller. That's 2 out of 3. I'm doing all right. We're doing all right. Let's keep going. Now look at this. I want to skip now some. So this thing want to move. Uh-oh, it done froze up on me. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to skip all this because I'll be looking for clues. Look at this. Eat everything. While still unknown, it's clear that some lifestyle changes and shifts in spending patterns are going to outlast social distancing measures. For example, some consumers opted to shop online because physical shops were closed and to avoid crowds. And now they have made the leap. It's unlikely that they will revert to their old ways entirely. Early lessons from China suggest that 3 to 6 percentage points of online market share will be sticky, driven by older generations newly comfortable with digital channels and by new consumer segments. Here's some other things that are rising. Eat everything. Things like Instacart, things like Uber Eats, where now once our older generation gets comfortable, they can have other people shop for them and deliver it to their door, right? DoorDash. I mean, just all these different travel concierge services are on the rise, or not ride share, just simply delivery services. Their research found that 3 largest UK grocers added more than 500,000 new delivery slots in the space of a few weeks, an increase of more than 30%. Look at that. Nestle's e-commerce sales globally shot up 30% in the first 3 months of the year, while Procter & Gamble reported 35% growth in online sales over the same period. Right, coronavirus crisis is likely to be a breakthrough event for online sales of food and beverage, as people who previously would not have bought groceries online discover how convenient it is, said Schneider, Nestle CEO. E-commerce is unlikely to stay at the very high levels it is at right now, but we've reached a higher plateau to grow from, said Jack Neal, the portfolio manager at Dutch Financial Services. Health and hygiene. Health and hygiene. These are big segments that people are concerned about. Nesting at home, I don't really care about that. Value and trust. This is just a great article, I believe, for those who still don't believe for some reason, right? And what I've been preaching, I don't know, maybe God just gives it to me a little early. This is where it is, people. This is an opportunity for many people to establish themselves and get rich. And when I say get rich, I'm talking about building up your capital so then you can then turn around and invest. So that's why I say get rich and build wealth, right? Get rich and build wealth. Do both. But create a vehicle for you to first get rich, spend less than you earn, have some extended capital, and then turn that money and make it multiply by investing and learning a little bit about more of that, man. Now, pre-K to PhD, was this an online type of learning system that you had as well, Ms. Bernardo, or where were you in that phase, or where are you now? I mean, how has coronavirus impacted, that segment of what you do with business? And I know that you're studying for your doctorate, so it may not be as active. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so when I first began pre-K to PhD, we were primarily doing in-home or on-site private tutoring. However, by my second year, I had grown a clientele base of a lot of Saudis. And so I did have a large influx of people that I tutored online my second year in business. And while the majority of the people, of the children and adults, that we tutored have been in person, we did have a pretty sizable online following. Well, now that's just shifted to most of my clientele is online. So it wasn't hard for us to make the transition at all because we already had an online platform set up. In terms of the doctorate, like yesterday, I did my proposal. I passed my proposal hearing. We did it via Zoom. So I no longer had to drive to a College Station, which is about 2 hours away from Houston. And more than likely, my doctoral defense, which is scheduled for September 26th, will probably be a Zoom as well. So Yeah, we didn't have a hard time making that transition, like I said, whatsoever. And we still have a few people that still want in-person tutoring. Most of them have places of business where they can control the environment and the cleanliness. So, we do that. But yeah, everything is moving online. I mean, our world is becoming increasingly digital. Our stores, our education, our money, even. So.
Well, man, what a segment. I mean, we're talking about increasingly digital. I mean, that just tells us we probably need to talk a little bit about this thing called digital currency. Yeah, so talk us a little. I'm gonna pull up this crypto coinmarketcap.com. I'm pretty sure you found some other stuff by now. But coinmarketcap.com is a place where you can view, I guess you could say, a recap of what's going on with digital currency. But I'm gonna step down for a little bit. I've been a teacher long enough. Renata McPhail, talk us a little bit about coinmarketcap.com, where you'd like for us to go, and predominantly talk to us a little bit about Bitcoin. Help us to understand what we don't know about cryptocurrency.
Okay. So, when most people think of cryptocurrency, the first word that pops in their head is Bitcoin. And there's good reason for that. Bitcoin was the very first cryptocurrency created. It is the most valuable cryptocurrency that exists today. And the technology behind it has basically laid the blueprint for all of the other cryptocurrencies to be created. CoinMarketCap, this is a site that I look at pretty much every day, because you can see, if you scroll along the top under the blue box, you can see how many cryptocurrencies there are in circulation. As you see, there are about 5,500. Markets, that's where you can either buy or exchange those cryptocurrencies. The market cap, just like for stocks, the market capitalization is basically how much money is being circulated. And this particular market cap is how much money is being circulated in the entire cryptocurrency market, versus when you're looking at stocks, you're looking at the market cap for that individual company. And then the volume, which is very important. You want to see that's basically how much money has exchanged hands or exchanged wallets in this case, that each day. And then Bitcoin dominance. So of course, like I first told you, Bitcoin was the first, the premier, the most valuable, the most important of all the cryptocurrencies. So we always want to check this figure, and that's basically letting you know how dominant the trading of Bitcoin is, or the trading and also the holdings of Bitcoin are in the marketplace. So as you see, 65.8% of the entirety of the cryptocurrency market that's being exchanged today is Bitcoin.
Now, let me add to that as well. So if anyone, my advice, my recommendation, if you decide to delve into cryptocurrency, start with the big dog. Okay, start with Bitcoin, and there's reasons for that. Bitcoin is actually going to be a limited resource, or it's called scarcity. So there's only going to be, unlike the dollar, where they can just create a reason to print more money, right? And it's not backed by anything like gold or anything that's finite. The dollar is infinite, which in itself makes it less valuable because you can get it anytime. Bitcoin actually is going to be limited. I believe 22 billion. I can't remember what the number was, but 21 million. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin available in the coming years. They just did a Bitcoin halving. So to be able to acquire something that's limited, that has the potential to be even more valuable because of its scarcity in the future, as it becomes more usable, and it could become something that, as we are transitioning to a digital age, as we just said, the movement to digital money just is it only makes sense. It only makes sense. Being that we'll all be home and now we can exchange and then cryptocurrency as well. Some other things to know about it is it makes if you think about how many guys actually have WhatsApp, and you've seen how you're able to actually communicate with people all across the world for no extra dollars. Doesn't cost you. Before, you used to have to pay international, get on the phone, you had to pay international toll and all that stuff. Or if you wanted to send money internationally, it costs you all these fees to transfer the money, to turn it into whatever it is you're going to. This is a groundbreaking experience to disrupt your exchange and disrupt your communication. And so Bitcoin is you're able to, because it's just a digital wallet, you're able to transact all over the world for little to no money. The fees are lower. The processing is faster. And it has a store of value. It has a store of value, which are some words you may not necessarily understand as I'm saying them, but I'm just trying to give some overview as it relates to just Bitcoin itself, and then cryptocurrency. All these different coins have different uses for why they were created and what they could be used for and what industry they may represent. I want you guys to understand that every industry right now, every industry has some representation of cryptocurrency in the market.
Yep.
Real estate, weed or marijuana, whatever, farming, agriculture. I've seen music or entertainment. Every industry has representation of cryptocurrency in the market right now. So much so that 5 years ago, 4 years ago, whenever it is, 3 years ago, I don't know how long ago it was, when I started pitching to Black folk, pay attention. I'm in Decatur, which is the hood. And we have this place called South DeKalb Mall, which is the Hood Mall. And when you cross the Hood Mall, there's this little gas station called Chevron. And inside that Chevron, in the hood, across the street from the Hood Mall, is a Bitcoin ATM.
Yep.
So the Indians and the Arabs are placing these ATMs, which you consider to be vending Bitcoin. They're making money off the transaction that take place with this Bitcoin ATM. They're in the hood already. Been in the hood already. And I said to myself, well, why would they be, if this was not a thing, then why would they have Bitcoin ATM machines 5 minutes down the road from where I stay in the hood? What have you seen, Miss McPhail?
All over the south side of Houston, every gas station I go to now, there's a Bitcoin ATM. Everywhere I go. and like you said, it's it's most prominent. I've seen them everywhere, but like you said, the fact that they're in the hood as well too, that is very, very telling. Very telling. So I want to, if you don't mind, pivot a bit to the deeper significance of the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin. I of course it is another investment vehicle to generate wealth, to make money as well. But I think people need to understand the issue that you spoke of in terms of the dollar and supply and demand, in terms of the dollar and other what you call fiat currencies, and what's the underlying agenda behind cryptocurrency. So we've just seen during this pandemic, what the government has issued about 3 or 4 different bailouts, where they've deployed billions and billions, and maybe even a trillion or so at this point, of U.S. dollars into circulation. And as Brother Evan was saying, there's an unlimited supply. The Treasury Secretary got on 60 Minutes a week ago, and they asked him a very direct question, like, where does this money come from? And he basically was like, we just create it, we just print it. And we don't. It's backed off of nothing. Our dollar basically is backed off of, unfortunately, but is candidly as I can say it, our dollar is back on our military might, our ability to go in other people's countries and take their resources. That's what our dollar's back on. Other and debt. A lot of it to China. So you look at the principles of supply and demand. Allow me to elaborate on that. You've got an unlimited supply of something, and even if you do have an unlimited demand, if the supply is unlimited, eventually that asset is going to be devalued. Okay, and this is not just the U.S. dollar. Just in the wee hours of the morning, the European Union deployed a couple of $100 billion of capital. And we're seeing this around the world. When I say fiat currency, I mean a currency that's controlled by a central authority, a government. Okay. So the devaluing of those currencies is happening everywhere. Of course, the United States dollar is one of the most important, outside of the euro and the British pound. But what's going to end up happening, people, and it's not if it's going to happen, it's just a question of when it's going to happen. Our dollar is going to be worth nothing. That as plainly as I can say it. Go back in history, look at the Great Depression era, and there were people who showed up to banks to pull their money out, and the banks were like, we don't have any. Or go and look up what's happened recently in Venezuela, hyperinflation, Zimbabwe, hyperinflation, where their money was basically as good as toilet paper. That is happening as we speak, and it will happen. And when that does, as Brother Evan said, just like there's a move from actual brick and mortar stores to, shopping pretty much being an online experience, there's going to be a move away from fiat currencies and paper money to this new decentralized, not controlled by the government, digital money, where we won't need a bank in order to hold our value. We can hold it on our phones or our hard wallets or on the internet. And you have the freedom and the ability to transact and pay people without all of these fees. And the beautiful thing about cryptocurrency is it's controlled by something called the blockchain. So it's an open ledger that everybody can see. All you have to do is have a computer that's tapped into the blockchain, and we become the central authority. So every transaction that's ever had, everybody can see it. And you don't have to be subject anymore to the shadiness of the banks, of the central bank, of the treasury. And so,
Man, there's so much to this because, again, man, we're going to definitely, hopefully bring you back on. I'd love to have you on next week for Black Woman Wednesday, continue the conversation, because even before we get there, we have to understand the shift is already happening. Everybody putting comments on the shift. The shift is already happening. We have shifted from, many of us don't even carry money in our wallet anymore. So we've already shifted, and the conditioning is already taking place, from cash to card, and then from card to PIN, and then from PIN to whatever it is. Now you can go on your app, you can go into your bank app and fingerprint, right? This stuff is already happening, man. Now you got Cash App, and you got PayPal, or Zelle or whatever else, and now you just sending money. All these transactions, that's currency, people. That's digital currency. When you use Cash App, that's digital currency. It's still backed by a bank, but that's the conditioning of society for digital currency. That's what's happening. Now, many of us can't see it because we haven't had these conversations like this. We don't talk about money, but that is what's taking place. It's conditioning you. It's conditioning the whole society for the evolution, not only of from offline to online, which is conditioning that's had to happen over the years, right? Internet had to be introduced. Then everybody started getting computers, Microsoft, blah blah blah. Then we had all the search engines, Google. Then we had the marketplaces, Amazon, eBay. Boom! Everybody started getting more comfortable with the shift.
Mm-hmm.
And now pandemic, even the older generation that doesn't want to change had to change.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing is happening. One thing that I teach, Renata, and I got to get back to is I teach the evolution of money. I go back to rice and, you know what I mean, corn and stuff, you know, and cows. And this is what money used to be. And here's the evolution of money over the years and decades as we now know it. I will say this, people, for those who are still fixated on the United States, we're no longer in a local economy. It is a global economy. If you don't start thinking worldwide web,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be extinct. Your ways of thinking will be extinct. Your ways of operating will be extinct. It will no longer work. It will no longer work. You have to be willing to adapt. We got about 12 minutes left, man. We're supposed to get to the Great Richest Man Babylon, but we're gonna go ahead and do this thing with Black Woman Wednesday. So, Miss Renata, man, talk us a little bit about some of the stuff that you understand about. Matter of fact, I will say this: some of you guys said you haven't seen Bitcoin ATM. No, you just haven't noticed them. Mm-hmm. If you didn't know what to look for, you wouldn't even know it was there. It's there, right? It's there. You just probably didn't know it's a Bitcoin ATM. It looked like just a regular ATM. It's taller. You probably didn't know that's what you were looking at, but it is there. And you can always search and say Bitcoin ATM near me, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's in that store. I go there all the
time." I want to say those. What do they call those machines, Evan? The ones where you can take them to the grocery store. You can take like your buckets of coins.
Uh-huh.
What do you call that thing?
I don't know. Coin collector. I don't know.
But you know what I'm talking about. It's green, right?
Yeah.
I saw just recently in a grocery store in Houston, and I'm pretty sure it's a national company, so I'm pretty sure that it exists nationally. Now those machines, you can dump your coins in, and guess what you can get? Bitcoin.
Matter of fact, Cash App. When you go to investing, there's a slide. It goes from stocks to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Why would Cash App be doing that? A brokerage firm now offering people, which I don't understand. But Cash App kind of confused me because I was like, well, where's the wallet? It's their wallet, I guess. I don't know. They're holding the wallet for us. I don't. That part, you got to help me understand because I'm still trying to figure out, okay, how does this? I got me some Bitcoin on Cash App, but it ain't connected to my personal wallet. I don't feel like, but I guess it is my personal wallet. That I don't get it. Do you understand it a little bit better? Help us understand Cash App Bitcoin investing.
Okay, so yeah, that's one of the strategies I use as well too, and mainly because you can automate. You can set it up to where it, pull out 10, 20, however much you want out of your bank account every week. You don't miss it. But basically, there's a saying: "Not your keys, not your currency." So yes, you can buy, you can store, and you can transfer. You do receive a Bitcoin address for deposits and withdrawals. You have to enable that on Cash App. But my recommendation, like what I'll be teaching in my upcoming class on cryptocurrency, is that when you purchase on Cash App, what you want to do is you want to move it. Just use Cash App as a vehicle to continue to purchase it on a regular basis. Or
like you would with Coinbase, right? And then move it.
Yeah, but I don't like Coinbase. Now I said I'll get into that. You got to take my class to tell you why. But I don't like Coinbase. I would say, but you need to establish a wallet, an actual, whether it be a hard wallet, like something that you can physically carry, or a private wallet. And there are several that you can have. Abra's a example of one. Because when you have an actual wallet, you have what you call private. Private keys, and that's how you need those private keys in case anything happens, to your wallet, or you lose access some way, shape, or form. As long as you have those private keys, which is a string of actual words, then you can be able to access your monies.
Yeah, they call it Coinstar. That's what they called it. We was talking about. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely, man. So again, guys, Money and Power Show. This is just a quick. I mean, it's some stuff to dive into, and I've done quite a bit. I mean, I was telling Black folk about Bitcoin back when it's $1,200. So,
Let me correct you. I first heard it come out of your mouth when it was $800.
$800, yeah.
And I hesitated. And man, if I'd have listened to this brother. But that's okay because you always have second chances. I caught on eventually. But man, yeah, I saw the first post from you. It was $800. And something I didn't know what it was. I just knew that everything that Evan had ever told me to, he never let me wrong. Put it that way, right? And so there was something in my spirit. Even though I didn't understand what it was, it just said, go dump your whole savings account and what that man telling you. That was the voice of the Lord, and I didn't listen. And I saw that thing go from 8 to 1,000 to 12 to 2 to 5, all the way to $20,000 a coin. And I just sat there like, kicking myself. This brother told me about Bitcoin when it was $800.
I remember that thing jumped all the way to 20,000, man. It was a big man, oh man. But Renata, man, today is all about the Black woman. It's Black Woman Wednesday here today on the Money and Power Show, and we will you be able to come back next week? Let me know. Yeah, okay, man. Fantastic, man. And obviously, we want to know more about. You said you have a class coming up, so
yes.
If there's some people that want to, saying, "Hey, I heard about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency today." We got a Black woman that's an educator that can actually teach me about this stuff, and she got a class coming up. Okay, where's this class at? How much is it? Where can I sign up and get more information?
Absolutely. So, yes, I have a cryptocurrency 101 class. It's going to be a 2-hour webinar, and we're going to basically delve into everything that you need to know about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to understand what it is, to make an informed decision, understand what it is, how to make money, because there's several ways to make money with cryptocurrency. And I'm talking about right now money, start making income. Of course, obviously you need to invest, and then it's basically, it's going to be a crash course, and at the end of it, you're going to be empowered to, one, purchase your first bit of Bitcoin, and that very day, and I will give you all the tools that you need to start making income and as well as investing in crypto. And that class is going to be this Saturday, May 30th, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will post the flyer in the room, if you would let me. In the Black Billionaires Club. And also, I am going to offer my fellow Black billionaire comrades a 25% discount. The course is $99, but for you all, I will create a special link and post it, and you all can get it for $75. It is way more valuable than that, but I'm kind of, I was prompted to do this to kind of, evangelize, if you will, and I don't want to say really evangelize, but to warn people, and to get folks to start making this shift. So when that dollar does eventually crash, like I said, it look like it's going to happen sooner than later, you won't be caught off guard, and you will have a store of wealth that you can take into the future and set up your next generations for this new digital economy that is coming and is here.
So for people that that pay for the class and are unable to attend it live, will it be recorded and available to them later?
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. So so once you post that, then I'll put it out. Those that's not in the BBC but still want to take the course, you just keep your eye out on my page. I'll put it out for you guys as well. And then as far as I guess, have you created something on Facebook for your money market moves as a separate thing from pre-K to PhD? Is there some group or something like that? How can people follow that?
Yes, so I do. I do have a group. It's private though, so just my students are have access to that particular group. But if you go onto my personal page, Renata McPhail, I post tips and tidbits and inspiration all the time. So definitely follow me. And if you're interested in becoming one of my students, just like we tutor students privately one on one, I also tutor people in how to trade and invest in both the stock and cryptocurrency market. So just reach out to my inbox and yeah, let's grow and let's make market moves together.
Well, here today, Ms. McPhail, on Black Woman Wednesday, and then for everybody else in the comments below, love for you to share why you love and adore and appreciate the Black woman, why the Black woman is so important to you as you think about your mom, your aunt, your grandparents, as you think about your aunts, your nieces, your sisters. We're going to take a moment to uplift and show our appreciation for Black Girl Magic. Yes, that's right, Black Girl Magic. And we have a Black woman here, educator, investor. I think a movement is coming through her, probably a mom as well, I believe, that can really lead a whole next generation into money market moves and into wealth and prosperity. So, Ms. McPhail, if you could, for your last words, as you empower the sisters to get this money thing going, what's your last words for us here today on Black Woman Wednesday?
It's all about the next generation. Everything I do, it's for the children, and that's how you have to look at this wealth building, savings and investing efforts. It's all about the legacy that you leave. And you want to make sure that your children, that your grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and all of those children, around the world and in your community are set up to be able to grow and prosper in the next generation and to move us forward. Not only financially, but financially is a big part of that. Um, I just encourage you to ask yourself a question. Are you setting your children and your grandchildren up to do better than you? And if that answer is no, well, then you definitely need to contact me. I'd be happy to help.
Absolutely, man. Catch up on these comments, man. It's Black Woman Wednesday, man. Queen Viv said, love super strong, adaptable Black women, queens. Absolutely. Queen Melanie said, man, the Black woman is a fiercely relentless trailblazer. Absolutely, man. Here today on Black Woman Wednesday, showing our love and appreciation, adoration, lifting up of the Black woman here today on Black Woman Wednesday, the Money and Power Show. Locally click saucy, man. If it wasn't for the Black woman, I'd be lost in the sauce. Thank you, Black woman, for the trip. Absolutely. Thanks so much for your comments here today. Anybody else? We love and adore and show our appreciation for the Black woman here today on Black Woman Wednesday. Smart and the wealth of knowledge comes from the Black woman. King Sydney, man, the Black woman is loving, understanding, empowering, and most of all, God sent. Love you, Black woman. Queen Amanda, fearless, relentless, trailblazer. Absolutely. Queen Shanrika, the Black woman is the essence, sustenance, and evolution of existence, man. Thanks so much, guys. As we hopefully, whoever sees this, watches this, gets this, they're feeling much better about themselves, and they know that they are important and they are valuable. Queen Renata McPhail, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show. We look forward to your post in the BBC as we get people informed about this digital age and this digital currency. And hopefully you'll be able to come back next week and we can continue the conversation, man. We could make this a weekly thing. I mean, I feel excited to talk about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin again. It's been a while. Oh Lord, I got stuff to say, man. We got stuff we can dive into and everything, man. We ain't gonna give it all away. But again, this is free financial education for the nation. Free financial education for the nation. We can't say no one's teaching it. What we can say is that we choose not to show up to class. And that's totally up to you. Well, beautiful people, I want you guys to remember this, man, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God that's more than enough. Until next episode, it's time to get up, to get out, and go get something. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
The new Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We'll see you all there in the next episode of The New Black Wall Street.